Why you forget why you walked into a room. Ever walk into a room and instantly forget why you're there? You're not alone. Scientists have a name for it, and the real reason is stranger than you think. In this video, you'll discover the hidden science behind why your mind blanks out the moment you cross a doorway. From the doorway effect to the way your brain files memories, you'll finally understand what's really going on and how to outsmart your own mind. Stick around for the last fact. It reveals a brain glitch that affects your memory every single day. Picture this. You get up to grab your keys, walk into the kitchen, and suddenly, your mind is a total blank. You stand there, confused, retracing your steps. Sound familiar? Let's find out why this happens to all of us. The doorway effect. Let's start with the most famous explanation, the doorway effect. Scientists have found that simply walking through a doorway can cause your brain to reset your working memory, making you forget your original intention. In a 2011 study at the University of Notre Dame, psychologist Gabriel Radvansky had participants move objects from one room to another, both in real life and in virtual reality. The result? People were much more likely to forget what they were doing after passing through a doorway compared to just walking the same distance in an open space. It's as if your brain sees a doorway as a chapter break, closing the book on your last thought and starting a new one. Ever had this happen? Say something in the comments. Context-dependent memory. But there's more to it than just doorways. Your brain ties memories to specific environments. This is called context-dependent memory. Back in 1975, psychologists Gauden and Baddeley ran a famous experiment with scuba divers. They found that people remembered information better when they were in the same place where they learned it, whether that was underwater or on land. So when you change rooms, you lose the environmental cues that help you remember. That's why you might remember what you needed in the living room, but forget as soon as you step into the kitchen. Which room in your house is your memory black hole? Let us know below. Working memory limits. Here's another big reason. Your working memory is limited. For decades, psychologists believed we could hold about 7 things in our minds at once, what's called the magic number 7. But more recent research suggests it's actually closer to 4. So if you're carrying your phone, a mug, and a thought about what you need, and then you add a new distraction, something's got to go. That's why your intention can vanish the moment you walk into a new room. What's your personal memory limit? Comment your number. Multitasking and mind wandering. Now, let's talk about multitasking and mind wandering. You might think you're good at juggling tasks, but the truth is multitasking is a myth. When you switch tasks or rooms, your brain drops the old task to focus on the new. Stanford researcher Clifford Nass found that heavy multitaskers are actually worse at filtering out irrelevant information. And here's another twist. A 2010 Harvard study found that our minds wander 47% of the time. That means almost half the time you're not fully present. So if you walk into a room while thinking about dinner, work, or a conversation from earlier, your brain might just drop your original intention. What do you daydream about when you zone out? Share it in the comments. Environmental cues and memory triggers. Your brain is a master at using cues, objects, smells, and sounds to remember tasks. This is called the encoding specificity principle, discovered by psychologist Endel Tulving. When you enter a new room, you're surrounded by new cues, and the old memory can fade away. For example, you might see your coffee mug and suddenly remember you want a refill. Or you might smell something cooking and recall you were supposed to check the oven. What's the weirdest thing that's ever triggered a memory for you? Let us know. Stress, fatigue, and habit loops. Stress and fatigue are memory killers. When you're stressed, your brain releases cortisol, which can block memory formation and recall. Research from the University of Iowa shows that stress impairs the hippocampus, your brain's memory center. And when you're tired, your brain is more likely to run on autopilot, relying on habits instead of conscious thought. That's why you might walk into a room out of habit, not intention, and forget why you're there. Ever forget something important when you're stressed or tired? Share your story below. The brain's garbage collection system. Here's a fact most people don't know. Your brain is constantly cleaning out old and used thoughts to make room for new ones. Neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett calls this predictive coding. Your brain is always guessing what matters and what can be tossed. Sometimes it throws out the wrong thing, like the reason you walked into a room. It's not a flaw. It's your brain's way of staying efficient. Did this surprise you? Drop an emoji if you relate. How to hack your memory. So, how can you outsmart your own mind? Here are a few science-backed tips. Say your intention out loud as you walk. For example, I'm going to the kitchen to get my keys. Use physical reminders. Carry an object that represents your task. Reduce multitasking. Focus on one thing at a time. Practice mindfulness. The more present you are, the less likely you are to forget. Which tip will you try first? Let us know in the comments. Most people don't realize their brain is running on ancient software. If you just learned something new, imagine what's coming in the next video. Join over 100K other psych nerds. Hit subscribe, and let's dive deeper into the mysteries of your mind. Which fact surprised you most? Drop it in the comments and help someone else realize they're not alone.